All right, this is Block 6, the Great Depression, Section 5, after the 100 days, with the Soil Conservation and Domestic Allotment Act. If we remember back to the 100 days section, the AAA, the Agricultural Adjustment Act, that one that paid farmers not to farm and plowed under lots of land and killed lots of pigs for, to try to create artificial scarcity, that was ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said that you cannot do this. And they told Congress, go back to the drawing board if you wanted to help America's farmers out of the Depression. So what Congress came up with was called the Soil Conservation and Domestic Allotment Act. And it's the same idea. It is designed to create scarcity. It is designed to reduce the amount of supply of agricultural goods as to drive the price of those agricultural goods up. So it did two things. It either ordered farmers to allow land to lie fallow, and what that is for all you city kids is land that is fallow is farmland that is not being used to farm. Or the government said you have to grow soybeans. You could either grow soybeans or let the land lie fallow. And that tried to serve it didn't plow under any crops, it didn't kill any animals. It did not set price controls. It just said if farmers wanted to be involved in this, and they were, they either had to let their land lie fallow or plant soybeans, which would use the land but not use it for a crop that people were kind of willing to pay good money for. It also helped sharecroppers. One of the major complaints against the AAA was that it was only designed to aid the actual owners of land. Now, if we remember sort of kind of halfway what sharecropping is, especially down in the South, there's a large estate that is subdivided into small pieces of land, and that renters, known as sharecroppers, would live on this land. So, there's a guy's house here, a guy's house here, a guy's house here, and here, and here, and here, and here. And they all lived on this land. And part of what they grew, they got to keep, use, and sell. But a portion of their crops, usually about 1/3 to 50%, was reserved for the owner of the land. Okay? So when the AAA came out, it only benefited the owners of land. So the guy who owns the land, technically, got all the benefits from the Agricultural Adjustment Act, from the AAA. What the Soil Conservation and Domestic Allotment Act tries to do is it directly aids the sharecroppers themselves. Since many, many sharecroppers, especially in the South, were black Americans, this was seen as an act by Roosevelt, by the government, that aided and helped black America. That the relief money did not just go to the owner of the whole property, that the sharecroppers themselves got part of that relief money. This is another thing that FDR did that tightened the bond between the Democratic Party and American blacks that had already begun to strengthen under Roosevelt's leadership. That Roosevelt was seen by the southern black community in the United States as directly helping them, and not just the landowners whose land on which they sharecropped. The Resettlement Administration was another relief effort by the government around concerning agricultural America. And what this did was it helped farmers, especially from Dust Bowl areas, relocate. That the Dust Bowl, if you remember, was those enormous dust storms on poor agricultural land. What the Resettlement Administration did was it told farmers in those lands, look, abandon your farm, here's a whole slew of money, go start over again somewhere else. And then it took part of its money and in the Dust Bowl area planted 200 million trees to hold the soil in place so that this Dust Bowl would not happen again. So the Resettlement Act creates these internal migrations that people leave the Dust Bowl area states with money in their pocket from the government, resettle on farms, hopefully on better land, and then the government serves and plants 200 million trees through the Civilian Conservation Corps, through the Works Progress Administration. They get unemployed people to plant these 200 million trees, which obviously helps the environment, helps the soil, and prevents another one of these dust bowls from ever happening again.